Right, Elddis explorers, be aware. Elddis 3 or 4. Right, I'm going to try and narrow this down. About 6 times I've done this video. Each time has been like more than an hour long, because every time I'm doing it, I'm finding more faults with a Caravan. So yes, this video is about faults with a Caravan, and us being fobbed off. 1, by Elddis, and 2, by the company where we bought it from. So I'm going to explain a few bits, and then I'm going to go around and show you where the faults are. Now you'll have to excuse me, there'll be cuts in between. That'll be me like lifting all the sofas up and all that lot. I can't show you outside currently because it's pissing it down. So if you see me in different clothing, then you know what it is. Right, break into it. I'm going to be as quick as the bed that I'm sat on, the lats that run across with the bed, I've had to change a few of them, and I've put extra ones in because they broke. I've put legs underneath. I'll show you all this. I've put legs underneath the bed, so when you pull it out, there's 2 legs that flop down and they sit on the thing. Design flaw. That I can't say any more than that. That's a design flaw. The other problems that I've got are manufacture and quality control problems. So right, I'm going to start here where I am. The whale heater, we've had a pipe come off on that and leak all over the Caravan. The air blower, whale air blower, we've had problems with that where it's not been put in properly. The pipes haven't been cut up properly. The pipe work hasn't been put in properly, and we weren't getting heat round the rest of the Caravan. The consumer box, we've had problems with that, i.e. electrics. The auto mover, we've had problems with that when that were fitted. The electric hookup, we've had problems with that when that were fitted. The plug socket that's behind you there, that was the start of us noticing problems. That when we're on site kept blowing tripping all the electric off. One of the plugs were wired up wrong. With a slight grey patch starting on the ceiling, on the up there on the ceiling. Over in the corner has a moisture problem. I've fixed that and had that sorted out. The bathroom door, that was a find that I found on camera. The door handle and the door lock are all knackered. The bottom of the bathroom door, that's bent. This is a 2-year-old Caravan, by the way. 2 years old, brand spanking new, bought, 2 years old. The wall structure, the support bar that goes up, that's completely loose. What else is there? I think that the catches under here, they've dropped off. The extractor fan, when you wind the thing up, a lot of this has been sorted by myself, or I've paid for people to have it done. The bar was bent in that because of the excess silicone. The blind for the bathroom, the kitchen area, pull down blinds, springs gone in that. Then we start outside, the excess silicone everywhere. There's marks all over the van where they've tried to rub this excess silicone off when we picked it up. What else is there? Oh, the lights, all the lights yesterday, I had to go around and take them all off on the outside of the Caravan, so i.e. towing lights, brake lights, all that lot. All the push fit connectors were all loose, so I've had to go around and crimp all them so they actually click in. The fittings for the lights, there's bits missing off there. All the air ducting, there's stuff wrong with that. The top 2 towing lights, the connectors that go into there have all been broken. They're just countless issues. So my goal is to let people know these issues, right? So if you go and buy an Elddis Caravan, because they've rebranded themselves, and I'm waiting on an email to see what they say. Bearing in mind, there's been lots of emails to and fro. I've even sent them videos of things that are wrong. Other fridge, we've had problems with the fridge before, I forget that. So if I miss anything out, then you can prompt me and saying, oh, you've missed this out, missed that out, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to try, start here and work my way up to the end. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take all the sofa to bits here. So I'll cut the video and then bring you back and I'll start going through the problems underneath. Maybe somebody can help me and point me in the right direction where to go with all this, because I'm not getting it from Elddis. And also a bit of a buyer's guide, because if you go and buy one, I want you to check these things and look at them, because we paid a lot of money for this, half our life savings for this, and we're stuck with it, and we're stuck in a battle, and we're not getting away as much as we'd like to, because they're wanting the Caravan back to try and look at this, and then they're saying no, we're not doing that because it's not covered under warranty, this, that and the other, and blah blah blah. I paid for a new fully functional working Caravan, not a Caravan that's not fully functional but pay full price for it. The van is 2 years old. 2. So right, I'm going to cut it there, and I'm going to get all this off, and I'm going to start going through some things, and I'm going to work my way across to the back of the Caravan, right, because there's an awful lot of faults, and outside might be a different day, because as we're currently talking, it's raining outside and the camera's not waterproof. So I'm going to do the bits in here, and then when I've got time I'll do the bits outside, and I'll put it all together, and then I'll upload it to where it needs to be uploaded to show you lot. So I'm going to cut the video there and I'll bring you back in a minute. Right, I've just moved everything off, all the sofa area all the way around, just so I can get access to underneath and show you some of the problems. So right, one of the problems that we had, I'll start with the bed before I go under it, is some of these lats here had broken. So what I've done is I've replaced them, and some of these bits here had broken, so I've replaced them, but I've also put extra in to reinforce the bed. So a couple of these are new, hence why they're labelled up, so I know where they're going. So that's reinforced, that's reinforced, this one's reinforced, and also if I move back a bit, this is a good thing, is when I pull the bed out, there's legs that drop down, they're on a hinge, so when you put them in there and you put weight on the bed, this bit here, this bit that goes all the way across here, doesn't crack or creak anymore. We put them in because this was ready for snapping. So you know, that's a bit of a design flaw. I can't really sort of say to Elddis that, you know, that's your fault, kind of. It's a design fault. I can't say any more than that with that one. So yeah, so that was that. Right, now whilst I'm here, you can see the legs just fold up, and then when you push the bed back in, they actually tuck underneath with the bed. So there's nothing underneath, and they all fold away nicely. I'm just going to pull this drawer out here. Right, issues that we've had, I'm going to do my absolute damnedest to make so you can see all this. Alright, let's have a look. Right, where I've got my finger, can't see that, let's get a bit of light on it. Right, this yellow shut-off valve here has a push fit adapter right next to it. I'll try and show you so you can see. Yeah, them two fittings there are push fit. Right, now when you drain the boiler, this is the thing that you use, this yellow thing. Now in doing this, when all the cushions are on and so on, what's happened is one of these push fit fittings here has not had the correct clips in it. So over time it's wobbled loose, and in doing so it flooded the bottom of the Caravan. So I'd been out putting the awning in, up and over the passenger side and all along here, all the way down and all the way through to where all the electrics are. I'll lift this up. Yep, there's all your electrics for your auto mover. And all the main electrics. There was water pissing out the other side. What had happened is I'd taken it back a few times and complained about the bits of water that we were finding down there, and they couldn't find the problem. Well, I found it actually on site. So that was that. Now in the meantime of that flooding all the way across there, we weren't to know, but all the wires in there were loose, and all under there, the wires to the main inlet electric and all around the corner were all loose. All down here the wires were loose. There's a fuse there, the wires were loose on that. In the main consumer box, we've had to have an electrician look at all this, so we've paid for this, and he said all the wires were stupidly loose, that in there, if I can show you, I think they're on a little ringlet thing. Yeah, the little ringlets that are on, some of these nuts were completely off and the ringlets were all that was holding it on, but some of them were near the top. So he's sorted all them out, tightened them up properly, tightened all the wires, connections up there, all the rest of it. But when I explained about the water issue, he said, "You're very lucky you didn't fry yourself." So that was a delight, you know, finding out that I could have electrocuted myself down to, well, what can I say? Well, that's down to Elddis and poor quality control. Very poor. It's not down to towing or anything like that. That's down to poor quality control. The other thing whilst I'm here, all the blanking grommets, or the rubber grommets that should be on the holes, this is what the electricians told me, should be on the holes to stop the wires from chafing, or any of the pipe work or anything like that to stop from chafing whilst in movement. None of them were on, so he's fitted all them. He's redone all the wires because they were loose in the main consumer box, so all they've been done. And the wires here that run up should be in cowling and shouldn't be put right across the middle of the floor. If they are, they should be in cowling because they go up this unit here and to this plug socket. Now this plug socket, whenever we plugged anything into it, switched it on, it tripped all the electrics. The wiring in that was wrong. It was wired up completely wrong. So that was yet another issue that we'd had with the Caravan. So yeah, that was sort of the water leaks that we've had that were down there, and the electrical problems that were down there. There's more electrical problems, well, they've been corrected now, that I'm going to go through and show you. They're down there. Right, now I'm going to move on, and I'm going to show you the heater problems that we've had. So if I can get the light to shine down here, let's see, right, down here is where your hot air is that blows out for your heater. All the pipe ducting was all put in the wrong place. In fact, I think down here you can actually see the screw marks, and there's one down here, one there, and there's one down here where they'd literally just put the pipe work in the middle. That T-piece that's there, that was facing that way. So it was coming out the main outlet straight up, and instead of it branching off and blowing air either way, it was just blowing, because the T was the opposite way around, because this went down over there, down in that direction. So it was just literally blowing up, blowing right round and straight into the main outlet. Well, that pipe work wasn't there. We've had it all refigured and rejigged, because we'd no space really underneath. It was a bit dismal actually, it was a bit crap. But in doing what we've done, we've now got more space underneath, and the airflow now works properly. So we've had to repair for all new pipe work, put in the heater, which were down here. None of the pipes were actually shoved into the heater properly. That was yet another find on site, because we couldn't understand. So let me shut this too. There's your outlet there. So this has been added on extra because it only had one of them on it. Now that's your air intake, and the other side is hot air blowing out. And what they've done is they configured it in a way that it only blew out there. It didn't blow out the rest of the Caravan. So the whole entire pipe work right throughout has been readjusted, repositioned and re-put into places where you can now get access to all your lockers. Because before, under there, and I'll show you at the back of the Caravan, you couldn't get access to anything. It was just an absolute nightmare. Right, I'm going to move on quickly because I've got lots to show. The clips under here, on the thingies, this one dropped off. It's still quite loose, that one actually. I need to readdress it, but they've knackered the screws up, so hence why we've hit a bump and they've dropped off. The under here, no, that one was all right. This one, that's another loose one. That one dropped off. That one dropped off. And then we start with the storage here. That one dropped off. In here, these dropped off. So we've had to have all these redone, refitted. Yet again, I've just realised. Oh, look at that. The bracket that holds this in on this door, in fact there's a metal bit missing off there. Oh, yet another hand camera find. All this here, the bit that's behind it, it's all loose, it's all coming away. This is what I'm saying, every time I've made these videos I've found other things that are wrong. The actual door at the top there, it's popping out there, look, you see. It's not level, but if I push it, it goes in. Things to look out for. Yeah, it just yet another one of Elldis's issues, and quality control, because that's piss poor quality control. I think I've just found another issue as well. No, that's fine. Yeah, piss poor quality control. You can't see at the minute with the light being on, but up on the ceiling, just around here, there's a grey mark starting. I believe that's leakage from outside. All the silicone everywhere is all come away. Yes, that can happen with moving, I know that, I fully understand that, but what's their excuse for their excess of silicone everywhere? That's all around the van. We had a recall on the van. That was down to the windows, the seals. Apparently there was something wrong with one of the seals. I'll tell you what, none of them have been fitted in properly, even though it's been back and been checked. They're all badly rippled. In fact, if I show you on this one, I don't know whether the camera will pick it up, but that one all the way along is really badly rippled. I mean, come on, for heaven's sake, there's great big massive bubbles in corner here. That's not been fitted in properly. That's all I've got to say for that one. Not fitted. There's big bubbles all the way around the main window. So yeah, that's just some of the stuff there. Right, I'm going to stop it there for a second because I'm going to put all the cushions back and I'm going to show you some other faults with the van. So just give me 1 second, I'll be back in a minute. Right, sorry about that. I've just had to have a bit of a rejig around the Caravan to get things sorted, as well as I can move things around and show you things. One thing I'm going to show you is down here. There's a gap there to let air flow. That's to stop things from sweating. Now I want you to bear that in mind because I've got something to show you in a minute. So yeah, I want to show you that. Right, I've told you about the plug socket. I'm going to move on to the fridge. If we can just sit down here. Now the fridge, we had a problem as when you put it on auto, all it ever did was look for gas. It wouldn't find any of the electric components. So if we hooked up to the car, it wouldn't find it automatically. If we'd hooked up to mains electric, it wouldn't find it automatically. It wouldn't do any of. So we complained this and they said they were taking this panel off and putting a full new front panel on it. Now I know this to be a lie because I'd pulled the fridge forward, I'd taken, I'll just show you, I'd taken the hood off and I'd put some Tipex marks on it. Word of warning, if you're going to do anything and you send it away, put like Tipex marks on it because you'll know whether it's been moved, replaced or whatever, or broken seal, even if it's a screw, whatever. So yeah, Tipex marks, make sure you put them on everything. Anyway, they've done nothing with this apart from hardwire it in. So now if I had to hook it up to another source and put it on auto, it won't find, but I've got to move it. But it will not find gas at all now. So I thought that was a problem, you know, you had to manually do it, but no. Doing a bit of research, the automatic means that it should do it auto. So this is yet another fault. When we tow, this will not stay on battery, right? Because what they've done, they've hardwired it in, and something to do with a charging loop, something, I don't know, the electrician told me, means that it won't flick through, it won't stay on one thing. So what we've got to do is we've got to cool the fridge right down before we set off, put some ice packs in it, and then do it that way. So yeah, fridge still a problem. Right, I'm going to move on quickly because I've got a lot to go through. It's a lot to go through, isn't it, when you're buying a Caravan, especially a brand new one. This plug socket down here, we are now sort of just near the main door there. There's the bathroom. This is the child's bunk, if you will. This plug here, when we got it, this was loose, which meant in the back, underneath here, the wires and everything were loose in there. So that's yet another fault that's had to be rectified by us. Yet again, another cost to us. The other thing is the pipe work, all this pipe work for the heater. This has all been rerouted by me and then had to be passed off to make sure it's all sufficient enough. But yeah, yet again, you can see screw holes in the middle of the floor. All this was just in here in the middle of the floor. So all this storage was basically useless. You couldn't store anything in here because of where the pipe work was. So yet again, this is something that were wrong. That there was a T-piece and not a Y. So in other words, as the heat was being pushed through, it wasn't distributed out. It just went straight through under the other bed and into the bathroom. But because of the problems up at the towing hitch end, you couldn't do it. We weren't getting heat further down. So yeah, that was an issue. Obviously, all the pipe work down here has all been rerouted correctly, but also there's this little black thing here. is a cover for a vent. Under this bed had sweating issues, and this was down to airflow. So under here there's a little airflow pipe. Now if I put my hand there, I can feel the air, but also what's happening is it's pushing the air there coming through, it's sucking it out from under the bed, so it's sucking it out of there and pulling it out, so it's got fresh circulated air in there. There's something else to this as well, because for years Elddis has had problems with mould in this corner, and I've been on some forums and all the rest of it, and I bought a little smoke machine, one of these fog machines that photographers use and all that lot. You see them at discos, that disperse thingy, and I've used that to find the airflow of things and how things work, and I've made something that's cured all this. Hence that I said before over there with the double bed, just remember that thing with the airflow. So yeah, there was an airflow issue. So all it was is the pipe thing that they've put in has been unscrewed, and I'm talking millimeters here, and pulled forward. So it literally touches this now and creates a vacuum to pull all the air out and all the rest of it. So that's all been sorted yet again by me. Now the other issue that Elddis has had for ever and a day is mould in this corner. Now I've sorted it. We have no, you see, never been cleaned, no sweat marks, no moulding, no nothing. And people were complaining of problems after they'd had the van for a year or so. Well, what I did is I got some pegboard, right, and I've made a circulation thing around the pegboard. Down here there's little holes that go all the way through, same there, same in here, same in here, same in here, same down there, and this is more for support, but it's all been screwed together, glued, nailed, painted, and if you stick that in there, because there's nothing down the bottom there, all the way along, it creates airflow from down the back there and stops everything from sweating. So you put that in and you put your cushions, doesn't intervene with anything, nothing's in the way. In fact, it's really good. It's like a proper headboard. You don't get any sweating in that corner, so between that and sorting that out has cured the problem in there. I've explained this to Elddis, but they've not took me on board with it at all, not one bit, and I know that because they've rebranded themselves, and we've been to the Caravan and Camping show and we've seen the new vans, because the new vans are grey. So yeah, we've been and had a look. Yeah, so that's all that kind of problem. I'm moving a bit fast here, but if you want anything more in detail, then let me know and I can make other videos about it. So I'm going to move on quickly. Skylight, this extractor fan one, opens and closes perfect now, fine, no issues, no problems, nothing. What had happened is because of excess silicone everywhere, and it was all over in the bar in here that pushes this up, what had happened is it was sticking and we couldn't move it. So obviously we're trying to push it harder and harder and harder. Well, it bent the whole bar, so we had to have all this taken out. This is to our expense. Have all this taken out because they won't look at it, all taken out, all the rest of it, and a new mechanism put in, and then it all put back together. So yet another expense to us. That's that. The bathroom door, this is something else I found the other day on camera, but the lock to the door here, I'm just going to massively loose. What they've done is they've over drilled the hole. I don't know if you can pick up, you can just see a gap there. Look at that. The hole that they've drilled through that is too big, way too big. All this handle here doesn't work properly. Hence, if you do this, that clip doesn't go in properly, so you can't lock the bathroom door properly. Not that we want to, or not that we need to, but the handle doesn't go all the way down. Right, so in them trying to cure this, they've moved this to try and cure it, right? And if you notice, the wall's stupidly loose. There's another reason behind that in a minute. So yeah, all this mechanism, now I've tried to lubricate all this here. If I push it in with my finger, the handle goes all the way down. There is something wrong with the lock, the actual lock. I don't know what it is, but it might be down to that being oversized hole or whatever, but it doesn't work properly. It never has done. But they say it's fine, it's adequate enough, there's nothing wrong with it, blah blah blah. Well, no. Just moving on again a bit. So the air vent that's down there, oh, I forgot to tell you, the air vent that's down here now works properly, and the air vent in the bathroom now works properly because we sorted it all out. One of the other things that was massively wrong, which I'm going to have to get to somebody to address it, is here there's support bar for the wall. Now I'll try my damnedest to show you this. Is if I get hold of this and just lightly move it, it might be better seen at the top here. I'm only lightly moving this, but look how much that moves. Right, this has never been touched, so none of my family's touched it, I've not touched it or anything like that, but that is massively loose, so I don't know what to do with that. I'm going to have to get somebody to look at that before it actually drops off, but that is why the whole entire wall moves. All this wall moves because that is not doing its job properly. So as you're travelling, that gets worse and worse and worse and worse over time. There's no support structure there at all because this is not doing anything. That's a problem. The other one is, I must shut the bathroom door, is if you look at the bottom of the bathroom door, if you look at it there, it's stuck out. Look, it's massively stuck out. The door's bent because if you hit your way up, the door goes in and it goes in fine. There's nothing wrong with it. You come down here and the door's bent. In fact, rubbing my fingers down it, there's bloody dents in it. So someone's kicked it, stood on it or whatever. It's been in storage wrong. The whole entire door's bent. So, yeah, but Elddis said, no, that's fine. It's adequate enough. It's not. The door's bent. It's either the door's bent or the wall's massively out. It's one of the two. Now, I put a level on the door. It's the door that's bent. So, with the wall being loose and all the rest of it, at some point, this, if it's not addressed, will move. It'll come out. So, with somebody in line to sort that out. They're going to come and look at that. So, yeah, that's pretty much most of it inside at the moment that I've found. Obviously excess silicone everywhere. Just give me 1 second, I'll turn you around. Right, yeah, so far they're just some of the faults inside. I've got it still raining outside. There's a lot more faults outside. Now I'm trying to do all this as quick as possible. I could go into more detail with it all, but I'm not going to, because the video will go on forever and a day and you won't want to watch it. So if it stops raining later on, I'll stop taking you some of the things outside, and then we'll go over them. And then I want your thoughts on it, your opinions, because I feel as though I've been massively wronged. No, I won't say wronged, it's just not heard. And why should we pay all this money out and not get anything for it? Yeah, it's wrong. Why should we put up with this when it's wrong? So I'll bring you back in a bit if it stops raining. So I'll see you in a bit. Right, I couldn't finish off the review the last time or report, whatever it was, last time I was doing it. The weather was awful. It just kept raining all day. So we're several days later now. I don't know whether you can see, I've got the ladders out. I'm going to show you some of the things on the roof. I'm going to spin the camera around and go around a few things. Just as I said, things that have gone wrong on the outside that I've had to put right. So just let me spin the camera around and we'll continue on. Right, going round the van. I don't know whether you can pick up this. but there's bits of marks all downside of the van where they've tried to scrape off all the excess silicone. The side lights, I've had to recrimp all the things on them. Same again there. Recrimp the electrics, as I've already explained. Same on that one. Same on that one. And it's the same on the other side as well. I've had to recrimp all them. These lights, pick it up, yeah, I've had to recrimp all them. That's just reflector. Same with the reversing lights. Same this side, I've had to recrimp all them lights to get them to work properly. Excess silicone, you know, you can find all over the bodywork. It's absolutely everywhere, all the way down. There's bits on the panel, all the rest of it. The silicone that I did is here, because the awning rails drip right through. When it's raining, there's one there, there's one there. I've just recently washed the van, so I've taken all the black marks off with silky, but yeah, no, normally here you get black drip marks. Same again there, black drip marks, but I've taken them all off. I'm just going to take you on top of the van. Right, I don't know if you can see the dip there in the roof lining, and the same there. I purposely left the roof when shopping, washing it, to show you these, but this is all started cracking, coming away, but it dips here massively, and if you go along, bubbles back up. Same again, dips there, and it does so for the front. Excess silicone all round the light, the skylights, stupid excess amounts. Try and show this better so you can see it. There's just stupid, it's where they've been stored wrong, because it's exactly the same spot on both sides, but there's just big dips here and there, and it's only in this section of panelling, and it's where the back meets the roof, and it's the same over at the front. Oh, just let me spin camera around. Yeah, so it's where the panels both meet. There's like a groove in both sides. It's where they've been stored wrong. Right, one thing I forgot to mention. Oh, these lights, the bulb in here, the electric parts at the back here, broken. This is for both sides. That one as well. They both flicker like mad. Right, I've just nipped back in the house. It is quite windy outside, so I don't know whether this will be muffled or not. But yeah, the dips in the roof, they're obviously where the bits have been stored, which I've already explained, and it's just not fitted correctly. It's the same at the other side. I know these things are not right, because we've been to other dealerships, we've had a look at other dealerships, we've had a look at the vans. When we went to Caravan and Camping Show, we had a look at Elddis. They had a 304 in, they've now changed them to grey and rebranded themselves, but still have the same name. So yeah, there's just been quite a lot of faults with it, an awful lot. Now, we've been to and fro with Elddis, and we've been with the dealership and so on. You know, at one point the dealership won't give us the email address for Elldis. We've later found that ourselves. We've just been dealt a rough hand with it, I think, a very bad rough hand. So I want to know, what are your experiences with the company, and have you had faults and problems? You know, I'm not being one-sided on it all. I want to hear everyone's opinions on it. You know, the comment box down below, that's what that's for. Have you had a bad deal? What have you done to rectify it, and where have you gone to get it sorted, and things like that. these are the things that I want to pass on to other people, because I've shared my problems. So hopefully, you know, looking through the comment box, people will find and pick up on these things. And I want people to know about these problems, because if you go away, you get a new van and all the rest of it, you can have some things to look at. And with you having them things to look at, then you'll know whether it's the right purchase for you or not. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there because I don't want it to go on stupidly long. But please do leave thoughts and comments in the box down below, and I'll give an update at some point as I go along with it, and maybe somebody can point me in the right direction to point fingers to get it all sorted out. So yeah, I'll give an update later on.